Against the backdrop of growing concern over rising cases of substance abuse among young people, authorities and stakeholders have continued to intensify efforts towards prevention, counseling, treatment and rehabilitation in the FCT. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, and other partners are scaling up awareness campaigns and intervention programs to help affected youth return to productive life. But despite these efforts, drug abuse and its associated social challenges remain serious concern. So, what more can be done to strengthen counseling, treatment, and rehabilitation? This will be our focus tonight. Good evening and welcome to Saturday Discuss, your weekly enlightening program. My name is Abdullah Hajia. First, we'll take a breather here and be back in a moment. Thank you for staying tuned. Now let's begin with the stories. Federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to protecting Nigerian citizens abroad amid escalating tensions in the Middle East involving the US, Israel and Iran. Following an interministerial meeting on Friday, the government activated diplomatic channels and placed embassies across the region in Tehran, Tel Aviv and Gulf states, and remain on high alert to monitor developments and provide consular support. A statement from the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kimibe Ebienfa, confirmed that there are no reports of Nigerians directly affected so far. However, authorities are working on a reliable evacuation plan, particularly for nearly 1,000 Nigerian students in Iran. Talks are ongoing with Armenia regarding evacuation logistics. The ministry stated that Nigerians in the region are advised to remain vigilant, follow local security advisories, keep documents valid, and maintain contact with their embassies. The federal government states it will continue pursuing diplomacy while prioritizing the safety of Nigerians. Away from that, operatives of the Department of State Services, DSS, on Friday seized at Eha Amufu and Umufu in Isuzu local government area of Enugu State, arrested a suspected notorious Eastern Security Network ESN commander Sebastian Odo Odam and Ejike Daniel, a suspected member of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. Security sources revealed that the arrest followed months of sustained intelligence gathering on activities of the suspects. The arrest came on the heels of series of violent attacks on police stations and killings between 2014 and 2026, all in Isuzu local government area. Both men have confessed to being masterminds of a chain of attacks on police stations and cutting away of weapons. The attacks include the February 26 killing of 11 laborers and that of 5 policemen between December 24, 2025 and January 26, 2026. The arrest represents a major success for the DSS in the fight against insecurity in the southeast and country at large, remarked the source. Residents of Isuzu local government area expressed excitement as news of the arrest filtered in. Many noted that the arrest will restore some peace to the affected communities. Both suspects are currently in the custody of the DSS and awaiting arraignment in court, the source added. Now, the fight against drug abuse. Drug abuse is fast becoming a major social challenge among young people in the Federal Capital Territory and across Nigeria. Reports show that nearly 15% of Nigerians, about 14.3 million people, use psychoactive substances, a figure higher than the global average. Let's listen to correspondent Patricia Isamiluba on what she has for us on the growing menace of efforts to address it before we go into our discussion.
A recent statistical report by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, reveals that 14.3% of Nigerians, nearly 1 in 7 people between the ages of 15 to 64, currently use drugs, with a significant proportion being young people and students. Within the last 5 years, more than 77,559 drug suspects, including 128 suspected drug barons, have been arrested nationwide. During the same period, 14,122 convictions were secured, while 48,836 individuals received counseling and rehabilitation, underscoring the widespread nature of the problem.
After rehabilitation, we also get involved. We also ensure that we provide reintegration. We help people to reintegrate them back into their families and their society. In some cases, when the means are available, we also provide skills for some of these people, and through collaboration with some other partners, even some empowerment, to be able to ensure that, to be able to see that they don't just go back into the society. They are not just treated and taken back into the society without anything to go and do.
Narrowing it down to the FCT, the NDLEA spokesperson explains that as a metropolitan city, Abuja has a fully operational command structured with area commands actively identifying and monitoring drug hotspots within the FCT and its environs.
We have a full command, in fact a strategic command in Abuja in FCT here that is up and doing with area commands across different parts of the FCT, and I tell you, we have the map of a number of the black spots, drug joints where these things happen, and they are periodically raided.
From a clinical perspective, psychologist Godwin Alechunu warns that without coordinated efforts by government, families and communities, the consequences on mental health, crime rates and economic productivity could be devastating.
Most times when people are going through some psychological distress, they turn to drugs and say, oh, I want to use substance to be able to induce this pain or to be able to make me forget about this past experience that I've had over time. So we are saying that that is an unhealthy coping mechanism. It's good that we are able to identify the triggers, what can actually predispose and you as an individual to using substance.
Despite ongoing enforcement efforts, drug abuse remains prevalent. Many young people cite peer pressure, unemployment, stress and curiosity as key reasons for experimenting with drugs.
Peer pressure is one of the strongest, most important influences that a young person has. And most times it's not because they have bad intentions or they think they want to end up wrongly. They just want to belong. And guess what? High people like getting other people high. So if a child doesn't have the proper skills that they need to be able to say no when the pressure comes on them, guess what? They're going to crumble and they're going to give in.
The truth is, it's best not to start at all. It's best not to get involved, get engaged. And a very good way to ensure that children don't get into this is to ensure that we help them to be confident of themselves, so know their identity and be able to stand for what is right.
Experts agree that addressing the crisis goes beyond law enforcement. It requires a comprehensive public health approach, including rehabilitation services, counseling, community-based intervention programs, and expanding job opportunities to effectively stem the tide. The rising levels of drug abuse among youth are more than numbers. They are lives being disrupted and families grappling with loss. Hence, without urgent collective action from government, schools, communities, as well as the families, the consequences will ripple far beyond empty classrooms and troubled homes, reaching the very future of our society. In Abuja, Patricia Esemiluba, NTA News.
Thank you very much, Patricia, for that wonderful report. And of course, you know, that report is not exhaustive of the issues at hand. And that's why we have in the studio here with us the Assistant Commander General of Narcotics, Muhammad Bashir Ibrahim, as well as the Director of Counseling, Treatment and Rehabilitation at the NDLEA, a globally certified addiction prevention professional and National Vice President of the International Society of Substance Use Professionals, Nigeria chapter. Well, an intimidating credential, I must say. You're welcome to start with the discussion.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. Good evening, viewers.
Okay, well, I know you do a lot at the NDLE, and of course, the fight against drug and substance use in Nigeria. Let's begin from, a professional perspective at the NDL. As a professional, what do you think we're doing now generally in terms of trying to curtail the figure? The figure is alarming already, we know. So what are we actually doing to be able to bring down the figure as well as ensure that our society is safe?
Thank you very much. In NDLA, our job like twofold: supply reduction and demand reduction.
Okay.
So while we are scaling up our activities in supply reduction by intensifying our intelligence gathering, synergizing with other law enforcement agencies within Nigeria and outside Nigeria, policing our our interdiction point, and rely more on intelligence-led operations rather than being proactive rather than being reactive. Yes, and by going into signing of MOU with other countries, especially the source countries, for information sharing, that is on the supply reduction that we are doing. But on the demand reduction aspect of it, we scale up our sensitization, awareness, and advocacy across all spectrums in Nigeria. We talk about the school. I'm happy the last the report I just mentioned that if you don't do anything in the schools, in the community, definitely you might not have the future that we feel we should have. So we actually scale our sensitization, awareness, and advocacy activities in schools, in public places, motor parks, religious houses, marketplaces, across the country. We've been doing that a lot in the past 5 years. That's the incumbent chairman of NDLA, Brigadier General Amara. He has actually brought life into it and tasked all the state commands to emphasize and be more assertive in engaging all critical stakeholders in terms of prevention. Remember, $1 saved in prevention saves you $25 in treatment. Wow. All of us know that treatment is expensive, it's not accessible, there is a stigma. So what we try to do more is to be in the prevention aspect of it, while we are still doing the supply aspect of it. And we are not just taking it to all these places alone. You know, the world is a global place. We're on the social media.
Okay.
Or over there, you talk about Twitter. We are there every Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. We've had close to 150.
Okay, so let me interject here. While we understand what you're doing in terms of the supply and the reduction now, it is obvious you're doing very well. But would you say the figures are reducing in terms of being pragmatic now to say, okay, after we've done A, B, C, D, and today the figure is reducing, because we still see these cases of drug and substance abuse out there?
Yes. One thing we should understand is that when you talk about drug use,
okay,
it's not like you give me money to tie road and I tie it and you are seeing it the following day.
Okay.
Yes. It takes time for you to see the impact of what you are doing.
Okay.
What the figure we are still relying on is the one done by the survey done by the UNODC. That was in 2018, which was at 14.4% prevalence rate of Nigeria, which is 3 times higher than the global rate. We are at the verge of doing another one, and we are in the process. Until the survey is out, you cannot say, okay, this is what you have now. Though, after that survey, it's projected that if care is not taken, Africa will be having prevalence rate of close to 30%.
Wow.
Which is not good news for us.
Yes.
And Nigeria constitutes the larger part of population in Africa. So if we are saying 30% in Africa, you know that the chunk of that percentage is coming from Nigeria. So until that survey is out, you cannot say exactly this. But one thing that is very clear is that there is awareness and across all spectra of life that, look, this thing is a big problem, and all of us has to come together to addresses. And our major focus are the youth, who are the most vulnerable. They are not, the protective factors are diminishing while the risk factors are expanding. So you try to see how you try to compete to make sure that at least the vulnerable ones are being protected. And how do they protect? For them to be well informed. Let them know the implication of what they are doing so that they should be able to make informed, right decisions. Bearing in mind that as young ones, at that adolescent age, their prefrontal cortex is not fully developed. That's why we call them risk takers. So, and that's what is responsible for thinking and reasoning and taking decisions. So when you start listening to substance, definitely it can lead to a kind of permanent damage. So if they are not well informed, they will definitely go astray or maybe get wrong information and try to act on it. Maybe somebody glamorizing substance use on the social media, they feel that's what life is all about. So that's why we are actually in all social space across all the social space where you talk about Twitter, you talk about Facebook, you talk about Instagram, all we are there and we are very active there.
All right, let's look at the issue of counseling. I think will give us a good result in terms of try to prevent it rather than react to the enforcement and arrest that we see week in, week out. So, what's the counseling like at the NDLEA?
Okay, as at NDLEA as we speak, we have 30 counseling facilities across the country.
Okay.
And hopefully before the end of the year, 7 more will come on board, where we offer psychosocial services.
Okay.
We don't actually go into full treatment. We actually offer psychosocial services. We have an instrument which we use to rate them. So at particular point, when we look at it, we say, okay, this person require counseling and psychosocial services before reintegration, rehabilitation, and move the person into this society. If it's beyond that, which we feel that we cannot, that actually need medical attention, we will refer to other healthcare, like the neuropsychiatric hospital, to take care of that. We have 30. As at 2-3 years ago, we have less than 20. But with the present effort of the present chairman, we scale it to 30. And we have 3 modern ones in Adamawa, one in Adamawa, in FCT, and in Kano. In fact, in the next few weeks, we'll be moving to that of FCT own, which is bigger and more comfortable compared to what we have now. And by the time the other 7 comes on board, that shows that in every state will have one. And in the next 2 years, we have the plan to have, apart from each state, we should have at each geopolitical zone at least 1 mega rehab center.
Okay, well, what you do at NDLEA, I think one can easily see and hear week in, week out in the media of arrests. But what would you say have been some of the major breakthroughs in terms of arrest and getting those notorious drug addicts?
The major breakthrough is arresting the barons.
Okay.
As we speak, we should have over 70 of major international connected barons and syndicate that we've broken.
Okay.
I think I could say that's one of the major breakthrough. And now they don't see Nigeria as a transit route or where you can just fly in drugs and take a drug out.
Okay.
If you remember, there was this documentary recently where the Indian man was saying that they cannot take tramadol or anything to Nigeria any longer. They have to go through other African countries before they can enter Nigeria. Nigeria, they are very strict about it. So it is the measure that we put in place that is scaring them away.
Let's look at the issue of your collaboration now. How productive and how has it yielded result in terms of scaling collaboration, sharing information, and helping you to solve some of the problems you think that we have?
The challenge security organization we have is not sharing information, but very good, and we'll talk about the Nigerian aspect related to NDLEA. I don't think there is any security organizations that we are not synergizing with.
Okay.
The custom, the police, the civil defense, the DSS, even the army, they enforce our operational activity from time to time. And signing a kind of MOU, memorandum of understanding, with other African countries and other major countries where some of these drugs are coming from. It has really helped us in you talk about all the bearers that were arrested now. These are international syndicates. So in Nigeria alone, you cannot pick them. So what has helped us is our relationship, our synergy, our information sharing with other agencies and our foreign counterparts.
All right, before we let you go in less than a minute, if you can, help us guide the viewer there, our youths, and of course, every well-meaning Nigerian that should join you in the fight against drug and substance abuse.
Yeah, please, this is a menace, and all of us have to bring our hands together to fight it. The parents, the schools, the community, the religious leaders, please, especially parents, let us be positive. Let us practice what we call positive parenting. We should not just be financial provider to our children. We should know where they are, what they do at a particular time, and follow them to their schools and know the kind of friends they keep. The social media out there is misleading them. So as parents, let us be on our game and look out for these young ones.
We want to thank you very specially, Assistant Commander General of Narcotics, Muhammad Bashir Ibrahim, with so much, our portfolio, and we are proud of what you're doing. We want to wish you well as you continue to help keep Nigeria safe and also, ask our youth to stay off drugs and substance abuse.
Thank you very much for having me. So much.
All right. Well, you're still watching Saturday Discourse on the Unity Station in Channel 5 Abuja. Coming up next is Weekly News Wrap.
Hello and welcome to the Weekly News Wrap, your roundup of major stories that made headlines during the week. I am Hawa Kimba. During the course of the week, President Bola Tinubu inaugurated the newly appointed Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, urging him to strengthen policing and enhance national security. The new IG pledged to motivate officers and deliver on the mandate of securing the nation. Turning our attention now to the territory, the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has pledged to issue certificates of occupancy for ancestral lands belonging to indigenous communities to address long-standing land ownership concerns. The minister made the commitment during a thank-you visit to the Abuja Municipal Area Council and Kuje. Also during the week, the FCT Independent National Electoral Commission presented certificates of return to chairmen and councillors elected in the recent FCT Area Council election across the 6 area councils. In a related development, the FCT Renewed Hope ambassadors commended the peaceful conduct of the polls and improved voter participation across the 6 area councils. The FCT coordinator, Abdullahi Adamu Kandido, described the exercise as largely peaceful with encouraging voter participation across polling units. And on education, the FCT Education Resource Center monitored SS3 mock examinations across selected schools ahead of the forthcoming West Africa Senior School Certificate examination. Officials say the exercise is aimed at ensuring proper conduct of the examination and readiness of students. And finally, hundreds of Muslims and non-Muslims in Abuja received Ramadan food packs donated by President Bola Tinubu and the First Lady Oluremi Tinubu. The items were distributed at the national mosques with beneficiaries expressing appreciation for the gesture during the holy months. And that's it on Weekly News Wrap this week. Join us again next week for another interesting package.
Talking sports now, both Liverpool and Arsenal have secured their place in the fourth round of in the quarterfinal of the FA Cup, while at the moment Chelsea Football Club are 1 goal down against Wrexham, being currently played now. For other sports, let's join our sports text.
National Sports Commission Chairman Shehu Dikko has clarified that DR Congo's incursion in FIFA's playoff listing does not invalidate Nigeria's ongoing protests. Dikko explained that the matter is under review by an independent FIFA adjudicatory body operating on a presumed innocent basis until a final ruling is made. He confirmed that Nigeria has filed a strong case and that the final composition of the playoff fixtures will depend on the outcome of this legal process. Meanwhile, Nigeria Premier Football League leaders Eimba FC have moved a step closer to securing their 9th league title after a hard-fought 2-1 victory against Lobby Stars in Aba. Goals from forward Chijioke Mba and Joseph Atule is in either half proved enough to overcome a resilient Lobby side, who pulled one back late in the game. The win extends the People's Elephants' lead at the top of the table to 5 points with just 3 matches remaining. Fans in Aba are already celebrating what looks set to be a historic title run for the Aba-based Giants. With Sports Brief, Wayne Dugu, NTA News.
Of course, just a moment ago, Chelsea have equalized. It is still 1-1 at first half. Well, on that note, we conclude Saturday Discourse, urging you to join us same time, same station next week when we come with another topic on the discourse. I am Abdullah Hajja. Have a pleasant week.
Download OneXBet app and enjoy the variety of sports anytime, anywhere. OneXBet app, at the heart of the game.
يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. أياما معدودات فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له وأن تصوموا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبعد. yan uwa masu girma, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wannan dare da yake gaba, Allah ta'ala ya ba mu dacewan saduwa da daren. Kasanmu kuma Allah ta'ala ya mana magani, duk abin da ya fi karfin mu Allah ya dafa mana, Allah ya kawo mana sauki. To za mu dora daidai da mu kwana a jiya, muna cikin suratul ahqaf, za mu tashi ne akan aya ta 7 inda Allah mai girma da dauka ke cewa wa idza tutla alaihim ayatuna.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإذا تتلى عليهم آياتنا بينات قال الذين كفروا للحق لما جاءهم هذا سحر مبين.
Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala har yanzu yana yi mana bayani musamman irin wato turjiya da aka samu a wajen kafirawan Makka bisa kiransu da Annabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya dinga yi na su imani da Allah, su imani da ranar sakamako, su imani da manzanni da littattafai da kuma kaddara. To a kowane lokaci ya kira su, mutane ne masu taurin kai, sai su ki, sai su kawo wasu dalilai wadda ba su da kan gado. to idan mun tuna can baya ayar da ta gabaci wannan, Allah ta'ala ce idan ya tara mutane ko ya tada mutane, to wa'yanda aka bauta wa wa'annan gumakan za su zamanto makiya ga wa'yanda suka yi bautan, kuma za su kafirce mu abin da aka yi musu na bauta. To sai Allah ta'ala ya ce wa idza tutla alaihim ayatuna, idan aka karanta musu ayoyinmu, wato anan ayoyin alkur'ani mai girma, domin akwai ayoyi na gani na shaidawa na halittun da Allah ta'ala ya yi, sa'an akwai ayoyi wanda ake karantawa shine alkur'ani mai girma. To idan an karanta musu alkur'ani, aka gaya musu alkur'ani, wadda hujjojin alkur'ani wato a fili suke, bayanai ne masu ƙarfi, bayanai ne na gaskiya, bayanai ne mai hankali zai ɗauka. Misali wadda aka masu can baya a wannan sura shine Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala shi ke da halittu na sammai da ƙasa da abin da ke ciki. Gumaka ba su taimaka ba, ba su halicci komai ba, amma duk da haka sai su yi taurin kai, sai ba su yadda ba. To a nan ma da aka karanta musu ayoyin Allah wadda ga dalilai ƙarara, ga bayanai gamsassu, to kafirai suna da ja. Allah ta'ala ya ce sai su ce qala alladhina kafaru, wa idza suka kafirta sai su ce lil haqqi, ga wannan gaskiyan wanda ya zo masu, lamma ja'ahum, wanda ya zo masu a wajen su, wato alqur'ani kenan, sai su ce hadha sihrun mubin, wannan littafin sihiri ne a bayyane, abinda ake ji a cikinsa na sihiri ne. Tun daman su suna da bokaye, suna da mu'amala da sihiri, to sai su ce wannan ma sihiri ne. To kuma ƙur'ani yana da irin, wato a karance yana da zaƙi, a ma'ana ba ka iya ture ma'anarsa, ba ka iya turewa. Shi sa duk lokacin da annabi ya karanta masu tunani a cikin, suna ganin lalle wannan bayanin ba dan adam ke yin sa ba, saboda ƙarfinsa. To da suka ga ana musulunta sai suka yi taro, suka ce to yanzu fa a hana mutane jin ƙur'anin nan, saboda jinsa yana kawo canji a rayuwa. Su manya-manyan makkan karan kan suka hana, amma su ma suna ɓuya cikin dare su je su ji karatun annabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wata rana suka ci karo daga junansu, wannan ya ɓoye, wannan ma ya zo, suka ci karo duk wajen jin alƙur'ani. Suka ce ba mun doka ba, saboda shi ƙur'ani haka yake, yana da abin da zai kamo hankalinka, ya jawo ka, ya sa ka yadda cewa gaskiya ne. To amma saboda butulci da kafirci da kin gaskiya sai su ce ai wannan sihiri ne. Domin me? Sihiri yakan sihirce mutum, to haka shi ma ƙur'anin suke gani a wajen su, wa iyaz billahi. Na'am.
Surah Al-Ahqaf verse 7. In continuation with what Allah the Most High is telling us about the kuffar, He said, وَإِذَا تُتْلَى عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُنَا بَيِّنَاتٍ, when our clear verses are read unto them, they hear the verses of the Quran, clear evidences from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قال الذين كفروا للحق لما جاءهم, those who disbelieve, they said unto the truth when it came to them, هذا سحر مبين, this is an obvious magic. It can't be normal statement. It is so obvious that it is clear that it has some magnetic effect that no one can listen to it, especially the Arabs who understood the language. No one can listen to the Quran except but for him to submit willingly. So because of that power of the Quran, to whom understand the language, so it invites, it compels an individual to accept it even if he does not like it, except that he will just try to maneuver himself and forget it, and also suppress his heart from accepting what he has heard. But surely he knew that the content of the Quran and the message it is sending, it is beyond human being. That's why they said, Hada sihrun mubin, this is an obvious magic, because the magnet in the content and the meaning of the Quran is inviting them and is compelling them to accept the Quran as the book from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But despite that, they say no, this is clear magic. أم يقولون افتراه قل إن افتريته فلا تملكون لي من الله شيئا
نعم
هو أعلم بما تفيضون فيه كفى به شهيدا بيني وبينكم وهو الغفور الرحيم.
to har yanzu dai Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala yana mana bayanin irin tuhuma da rashin yadda da alkur'ani da su kafiran makka suka yi. Allah ta'ala ya ce am yaquluna naftara, ko suna cewa ne manzon Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam shi kirkira alkur'ani. ka san daman suna da wato riwayoyi daban-daban na kan alkur'ani, ko dai su ce a'a wani dan su ne ke karantar da shi, ko su ce a'a jinnu ke karantar da shi, ko su ce a'a tatsuniyoyi ne. To anan suka ce a'a shi ya kirkiro, am yaquluna naftara, ko suna cewa shi ya kirkiro alkur'ani. Alkur'ani ya fi gaban wanda ya kirkiro shi. Duk wanda ya san gardi da daɗin yadda Allah ta'ala ya jero bayanansa, to dan adam bai iya cewa wanda ya kirkiro shi. Hatta shi annabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam zaka ji Qur'ani ya ce da shi kul, ka ce. To idan shi ya ce, wa zai ce ya ce? Ka ce umarni yake ba shi ya faɗi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Saboda Qur'ani daga Allah ne cikakke, shi yasa har yau